Thank you. شكرا جزيلا. Thank you. My friends, Jestri, colleagues, thank you for inviting me to speak with you. Shukran jazilan. Today I have one message. This is a time for bravery. 26 years ago, two leaders saw themselves at a great crossroads. They were neither friends nor political allies. One was a revolutionary poet and politician, a Palestinian Arab citizen of a country that still would not respect him as an equal. The other was a Jewish Israeli general who had recently begun to speak the language of peace. Tawfiq Zayad and Yitzhak Rabin had every reason to refuse to work together. As a chief of the general staff to the Israeli military, Rabin oversaw the 1967 war and the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza. A minister of defense, he ordered Israeli soldiers to break the bones of Palestinian protesters. Zayad was mayor of Nazareth and head of the Hadash party in the Knesset. He led the groundbreaking general strike in 1976, we now know as Land Day, which protested the Israeli government's plan to steal land belonging to Arab Palestinian citizens of Israel. Rabin was the prime minister who advanced the confiscation plan. But in 1993, Zayad and Rabin looked at the road ahead of them and saw a future of occupation and war forever. And they saw another road, one that required great risk, but that could lead to a future of peace and equality for all. And while their political visions were still very different and the risk very great, they chose to be brave. Rabin led a minority government supported from the outside by the Arab and Arab Jewish parties, led by Tawfiq Zayad. Without Zayad, there would have been no Rabin coalition, no negotiations, and no peace process. This is a time for bravery once again. Just a few weeks ago, we, the Arab Palestinian citizens of Israel, as part of a campaign based on partnership between Arabs and Jews, chose to reject Benjamin Netanyahu and his politics of fear and hate. Together with 9 of my colleagues from the Joint List, I recommended Benny Gantz for Prime Minister in order to end Netanyahu's political career. Gantz and I have every reason to refuse to work together. He is a former general who still has not learned to speak the language of peace. I am a Palestinian Arab citizen of a country that passed a law last summer to declare that I am a second-class citizen, that my family are second-class citizens, that 20% of the population are second-class citizens. But it is 2019, and I cannot leave a future of war and occupation forever to my children, to the children of the West Bank and Gaza, to all our children. I am calling on Benny Gantz. Be brave, like Rabin was in 1993. Be brave like Rabin was in 1993, and it would be my honor to be brave like Tawfiq Zayyad. In the words of the great American poet Lin-Manuel Miranda, history has its eyes on us. Our demand is nothing more and nothing less than a basic agenda for equality. First, we must address the crisis of violent crime in cities and towns where Arab families live. 77 Arab citizens were murdered since the beginning of the year, and the rate of solving the murders of Arab people is half of the rate in the Jewish population. I am so proud of the civil rights struggle Arab Palestinian citizens have led over the last several weeks. None of us should fear of our lives in the streets of our neighborhoods, and the government must take immediate action to protect all families. Next, we must legally incorporate the unrecognized Palestinian Arab villages that have no services for electricity, water, or schools. We must create fair housing and planning laws and increase access to hospitals so that people in Arab municipalities have the same rights and resources as their Jewish neighbors. Our agenda for equality calls for raising pensions so that all of our elders can live with dignity. We must create and fund a plan to prevent violence against women. And we must immediately repeal the nation-state law because all people are equal. Finally, our agenda for equality demands a return to direct negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians to reach a peace treaty that ends the occupation and establish an independent Palestinian state on the basis of the 1967 borders. As a Palestinian, I cannot accept a world in which there is no place for Palestinians to shape their own future. As a citizen of Israel, I know that Israel cannot be a true and just democracy so long as it occupies another people. The occupation is the Palestinian people's tragedy, but it is also Israel's prison. We must liberate both peoples from the prison of occupation. It is our duty collectively and my mission personally to bring about sincere negotiations for peace, a peace founded on justice and independence for two peoples, for both peoples. And when our agenda for equality becomes a reality, who will benefit? Equality and peace and democracy and social justice can only make life better for all of us, no matter the language of our lullabies, or the holidays we celebrate, or who we choose to love. This is a time for bravery. In the days leading up to our historic decision to recommend Gantz as Prime Minister, I thought of a passage written on the wall of my daughter Shams Elementary School. It is from the book of Psalms, Tehillim. אבן מאסוها בונים הייתה לראש פינה. الحجر الذي رذله البناؤون أصبح اليوم رأس الزاوية. The stone that the builders ejected became a cornerstone. It is time for the center-left parties to understand that if they believe we have a place in this country, they must accept that we have a place in its politics. We are native to our land, and we are not going anywhere. We will be the cornerstone of democracy. Uniting behind our agenda for equality and our desire to exercise our power in the political process, we inspired tens of thousands more Arab voters to turn out on election day. And with the political power we built together, we prevented another 4 years of a Netanyahu settler government. We have proven that cooperation between people, Arab and Jewish, is the only principal political strategy that will lead to a better future of all. We need you. We need you, our progressive friends in the United States, to stand together with us, because our struggles are connected. Cruel and corrupt rulers like Trump and Netanyahu are dividing us against one another, while they steal from us, take away our rights, and damage our environment. Standing with us means standing against these right-wing governments wherever they are. My friend Bernie Sanders has described them as an authoritarian axis. They have used fear and racist messages that have increased anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Just yesterday, we marked 1 year since the deadly shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, the most deadly anti-Semitic attack in American history. توفيق زياد wrote, إنما أملك إيماني الذي لا يتزعزع وهوى يكتسح الكون لشعب يتوجع. All I have is unshakable faith and an infinite love for my people in pain. My friends, my heart breaks with you. We cannot accept the return of neo-Nazis and supremacists or the politicians who enable them. Because whether we are in Pittsburgh or Christchurch, Charleston, or occupied Duma, our pain is reflected in one another, and we will protect each other. In this moment of great pain, my faith in our shared struggle is unshakable, because I know that together we can build the future we want for all our children. I am inspired to see so many of you demanding that your political leaders support progressive partners around the world. So let me make this clear. Supporting our agenda for equality is supporting those of us who share the values of democracy and social justice, and who are working tirelessly to achieve them. Anyone who cares about people in Israel and in Palestine must oppose the supremacist policies of the Netanyahu era and demand that the next government, whatever form it takes, cannot exclude or invalidate 1/5 of the population of Israel who are Palestinian Arab citizens. And to my colleagues who are American elected officials, I urge you to support our agenda for equality and refuse to implement any blueprints drawn up by settlers, despots, and sons-in-law. Because this is the crossroads we have reached today. We can choose to continue on the road to annexation and apartheid, or we can choose to be brave and to build shared future. Let this be the legacy we leave. We, were the Arabs and the Jews who refused to be enemies, that we stood with unshakable faith in our values and infinite love for our people, and that at our hands the despots fell. This is a time for bravery, and I am looking for a partner. Thank you. Thank you.